All right, everyone, the Trump administration has decided to rescind some of the bureaucratic meddling in school lunches around the country. Now, school lunches have ranged from, I can remember, of course, like the pre-Obama era of school lunches. They've ranged from, we can put it in stock market terms, they're standard and poor or something like that, but now they're going to be at least made edible again. Because if you looked at some of the pictures of school food that came out post Michelle Obama's bullcrap tampering and saying, oh, these are going to be healthy school lunches, what do you get? Salad that isn't green, it's like brown, and undercooked items, and pretty scant on the proteins and the fats because reasons. I guess the idea was to combat obesity. Yeah, it's going to combat that by causing starvation, North Korea style. Some of that stuff, you couldn't pay me to eat it. Now, I am sort of exempt in a way from having to have suffered even under like the pre-Obama school lunches. Some people, if you're like Generation Z, you're eating school lunch now or recently like post-Obama, you probably don't realize this, but school lunches were never good to begin with. There are some schools around the country that have decent food, like the high school I went to. It was okay, I guess. It was never like rancid and totally fucked up, but there were food poisoning cases there, and that happens in any school. Ultimately, I brought my own food every day except one throughout high school. One time I had I think it was a chicken or a fish patty or something like that. Somebody else didn't want it, and they're like, oh, you want this? I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll choke it down. Every other day, I brought my own lunch to school, and I did that mostly in elementary school. Sometimes I'd eat like a piece of pizza or something, later on, hit or miss, essentially. Because it was not particularly appetizing. Cardboard pizza is better than the stuff Michelle Obama wants you to eat, but it's still not really great. And then you hear your parents talk about school lunches back then. Oh yeah, we had mystery meat and green slop, and you got to choose from 5 different colors of gruel and stuff like that. So it's not like socialized food is actually, because it has to be mass-produced, shipped out to a bunch of different locations and so forth. It's never going to be great, but it can be edible, and that's what it will return to being. So for all of those kids out there that have been suffering under Michelle Obama's tyranny of food, now you'll actually have food choice to some degree. I thought it was funny, there was a company, this even happens in colleges, by the way. There's a company called Sodexo, I believe it was, and they actually make food for U.S. prisons. They also made food for the University of Vermont. I don't know if they still do, and I can't remember if Sodexo is the actual name, but I'm pretty sure it was. I thought that was funny. I have to assume that the sort of food providers that work with the actual public school system, which is even more substandard, are like prison food companies that have lower food qualities than Sodexo does, or something like that. Now, I never had a problem with like UVM's food. It was pretty standard. Some of the stuff was more prepared than others. And it's sort of like pick or choose. The problem with Michelle Obama's healthy school food program is that the choice is much more limited because she's determined that certain foods are or are not healthy to give kids. And really, that makes no sense at all. Michelle Obama's not a nutritionist. The people she consulted to do this were not nutritionists. Simply taking a flying fuck at a rolling donut and saying, well, we have to tamp down on obesity and give kids more nutrition. Yes, nutrition is 2 fish sticks and a bowl of browned lettuce. Yes, that makes perfect sense. And spoiled milk or something like that. That's not healthy at all. It's how you kill people off. It's like what you do when you want to let the prisoners die and find Jesus or something like that. Oh, make them suffer so much, put them through so much hellish purgatory that they'll repent or something like that. It's like the Dark Ages or something along those lines. So the school lunches, they're not going to be great. Don't expect them to be massively improved, but they'll be a little bit better. They'll be more edible than they are now. It's sort of like going from having to eat nothing but crushed up tarantula dust to being able to eat fried scorpions. Okay, still a little bit out there. Maybe most people aren't going to enjoy that much, but it's more edible than it was before. So yeah, Trump is making school lunch edible again. Good. It's a good step in the right direction. Get rid of some of that bureaucracy. You should do this all over the government. That's about all. Peace out.